Good afternoon, everyone. This is Jim Fitzsimmons. I'm joined with Kevin Quast today. It's Thursday, July 16th, 2020, and we're just going to hit some of the current topics that we've been getting some feedback on or just wanted to bring up in general. First of all, I want to talk about the opportunity to team up. And so keep in mind, if you've got a family member, a friend, spouse, whatever it might be, there is definitely opportunities for Swift to continue growing our team freight. And so if you're looking to do something different, if you have somebody that's currently riding along or you even considered, I would definitely encourage you to get with your driver leader, your terminal leader, ask some more questions about that. But in some cases, your take-home pay could actually be double of what it could be as a solo driver. So definitely some good opportunity there. The freight market right now is very strong, and we see that continuing through the third quarter into the fourth quarter. And so, again, you just want to be able to make sure you're taking advantage of the opportunity while it's there. I was on a phone call earlier this morning with a large home improvement retailer, and even though other industries are going down right now, like obviously anything to do with tourism, travel, airline, their business is substantially down. But people are taking that money that they're not spending, going on vacation, for example, and they're spending it on home improvement. And so we're seeing a lot of our customers at Swift where the volumes are picking up, more than they normally would be this time of year. And so July is shaping up to be a very strong freight month. We feel that freight will continue through the end of Q3 and right into Q4. And so just make sure you're doing everything you can to take advantage of that. Something else we wanted to hit on was our military members. And so just kind of a reminder, if you are somebody that's in the reserves and you do get called in, whether it's a temporary for a few months or longer, that, Swift obviously is going to hold your job. And so we're very proud of our military family members. And we love when we hear stories of our employees getting called in, to reserves, and then they come back, and we're more than glad to hold those positions and really appreciate everything everyone does there. Lastly, want to hit one more time on COVID. And so, again, we've talked about this a lot, but just make sure you're wearing the PPE. So the gloves, the mask, hand sanitizer. I'll share a personal example, with myself. We've been talking about it a lot, and I've been saying if you're required to wear a mask, then you need to, wear a mask when you go onto a customer's property, or some cities, counties, states require that. I've been wearing the mask only when I've been required to wear the mask, but I will tell you, I did get COVID, and so now that I've had COVID, I've just recovered from it very recently. But I'll tell you what, I will take wearing a mask a lot more serious than I took it prior, and I have no idea where I picked it up. And I thought I was being careful. I was, washing my hands normally, regularly, using hand sanitizer, being very careful. But the one area I wasn't being very careful was not wearing a mask. And so, and again, I picked it up. I have no idea where I picked it up at, and now I'm recovered and on the road to recovery. But I would tell you from now on, regardless if a company requires me to wear a mask, I'm going to be wearing that mask when I'm out in public, just to take that one extra step. And that's one thing the health experts are saying, and there's a lot of political debate, and we're not here to debate it one way or the other, but the experts are saying that it's clear now that wearing a mask does protect you more so than not wearing a mask. And so I would just use my personal example there of learn from my mistake. Put that mask on when you're out in public. If you're in your truck and you're by yourself, then there's no need to wear the mask. But if you're going to be out in public, I would definitely encourage you to put that mask on. Thanks for everything everyone's doing, and I'll turn it over to Kevin Quast.
Hi, everybody. It's great to be with you again today, and appreciate Jim's comments and his leadership, his work in our company. I wanted to touch on one topic and then dive into some comments about COVID and some related areas. I wanted to touch again on summertime idle and APUs. That question continues to come up, and understandably so. I want to just say this, as we've said before, that the most important thing to us is your safety and your well-being. And we understand that for you to be safe and to be able to be alert while you're driving, that you need to be able to get a good night's rest in some weather conditions. We understand that that's going to require idling the trucks. We are highly supportive of that, particularly while you're resting. And I get to that in the world we're in today, you can't always, truck stops don't let you necessarily dine in, and there's those kind of restrictions. So you're spending more time in the trucks, and we don't expect you're going to be sweating and uncomfortable. And so just be wise about how you idle that truck. And hey, you're going to get some calls. We work on idle, we watch idle, we still focus on idle. We're going to get some calls from a driver leader perhaps, or somebody talking to you about your idle. Please just recognize that they're just trying to understand your situation, trying to help. We see examples sometimes where we have some drivers who are idling much more than others in the same kind of environment, and so they're going to maybe try to coach a little bit and work with you, but gosh, please don't be offended by that, and just recognize what we're trying to accomplish in controlling the cost. It's not simply the cost of the idle, it's the cost of increased maintenance. Those DPFs get plugged faster, all those kind of things. So just recognize that what we're trying to do, but again, we're here to support you and want you to be safe and comfortable. So please continue to do that. Now, I want to just touch briefly on COVID. I appreciate Jim's openness and transparency and sharing his personal situation, what he went through, and we're so grateful for that he's okay, that he got through it. Grateful for so many of our team members who have contracted the virus, have made it through it. Unfortunately, not all have. But we're, the death rate that we've seen among our employee base is significantly lower than the national death rate. But it's unfortunate. And hey, this, as Jim had discussed or shared earlier, I've been one that early on maybe didn't take this as seriously as I should have. But this thing is a very real deal, and we're seeing it strike closer to home with people losing their lives because of coronavirus. We've seen team members lose family members and people very close to them, and we do not want that to happen to you or to any of our employees, either yourself or team members. So we encourage you to take this very seriously and to follow the advice that Jim gave. I won't go through that again. Through all of this, coronavirus continues to create uncertainty. We know much more about the disease today. We know much more about the economy today, where we're at. And certainly the economy is in much better shape today than it was early in the coronavirus period. We're seeing very good signs of recovery, not all the way back yet, but very good signs of recovery. And yet none of us know what tomorrow is going to bring. None of us know what to expect next week, next month, next year. And there's not a cure for coronavirus yet, and things are going to continue to be challenging, and we're going to have things that we're going to need to work through. But what we're starting, I think, to see, perhaps all of us, I hope we all are, is some kind of a new norm, if you will, in how we live and how we deal with this. And so we encourage you to continue to live your life and to take precautions, but to continue to live your life. But I also would suggest to each of us that we consider that the importance, when it comes to our employment and our livelihood, the importance of where we pitch our tent, if you will, in that camp. And the great thing that I appreciate personally about working for a company like Swift is the financial stability of this company. Now, there's no guarantees for any of us. But what I can tell you is that Swift and Knight and the whole KNX family is, from a financial perspective, is much more financially sound and stable than almost any other company in our industry, and even outside of our industry, very financially sound and stable. And so, regardless of what may come, I'm highly confident in our ability to be able to endure and to be able to work through this. And again, no guarantees for any of us, but I'm highly confident in our ability to survive and to work through it. Now, for each of us personally, I wanted just to share one thought, a quote that I read the other day from I'll just leave it as someone I consider to be a very wise man. And he said this, and he was talking about the difference of surviving through what we're dealing with right now. For example, these kind of challenges and sometimes personal challenges, the difference between just surviving and the difference of thriving. And think about that. There's a big difference between surviving and thriving. And he said this, another characteristic of those who not only survive but also thrive is adaptability, or coming to terms with a new reality. We are most rattled when our lives suddenly change, especially by events outside our control. Boy, can't we all relate to that with coronavirus. Sudden change and outside of our control. He continued, those who fare best are the most flexible and less dependent on their environment and the normal routines of life for stability. This is more than optimism or a positive attitude. It is faith, which is different. Now, whatever that word faith might mean to each of us, I think the message is really clear that is that we need to be positive, be flexible, be adaptive, and work through things. And I would encourage each of us to do that, whether it's coronavirus or challenges that come day to day in our employment, our jobs, and particularly if you're driving and you're out working, just be adaptable. And I can promise you, your life will be better if you'll have that attitude and seek not only to just survive, but to thrive. And hey, I'm excited to be a part of this team at Swift, where we are working every single day to thrive, and we're seeing some very good signs of that, and things and very, very good things that we're pleased to see and progress that we're making. So appreciate the good work of all of our team members, our driving associates, and those who don't drive a truck, our shop personnel, our mechanics, and everybody who's doing so much. And hey, we're going to continue forward, and whatever comes our way, we're going to deal with it and be able to deal with it, and we'll just take them as they come, so to speak. So appreciate each of you, and hope that you have a wonderful week. Thanks so much.